Bop. All right. So I know y'all haven't seen me in probably 2 or 3 years. Just a short blurb. I'm coming on here straight out the shower, watching these videos that get sent to me, the ones I look up, and I just can't hold my mouth. Y'all already know that. But no, I did not have a trucking accident. I went in for a surgery. Shit happened, and here I am, working my way back down. But what has brought me here to you fine people again? Fucking Jose, what's his name? Jumpsuit Pablo, nobody cares. He has been a nobody since he got out of prison in 2022, and he's making a lot of profit off of a case he don't know shit about. So it's time that I come through with all of you who know my abilities. No, I don't need to hear anybody's story. I don't need to listen to anything. All I need is these eyes right here. Call it a sixth sense. So I was so fucking agitated with the video that I just watched. I decided, you know what? I had just moved, dug all my shit out. I don't have my microphone or anything, but y'all can hear me anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. Wade Wilson. It's probably split, I'd say 70-30. People think that this man did this. I gotta tell you. Do I think he was absolutely 1000% a drug addict? I have my brother who I took in, finally have had him sober for 4 years off of the same type of illicit drugs. During the times that he was high on these drugs, I mean, he hit me, he headbutt me, he strangled me. These are just things. They become very paranoid. They hallucinate. They see people that aren't really there. And does that make Wade Wilson a killer? No more than it makes my brother a killer. What are my credentials? Well, I can't really say stuff without saying stuff. I do come from an organized crime background. If you want to know more, go read my book, Dysfunctionally Functional. That organization joined some of the organization. So Pablo is wrong. There is a main, I guess you'd call it hub of outlaws in Florida. Yes, they are very scary, but they're not the only ones. They're subsidiaries of 4. How do I know this? I don't know. So let me tell you how this situation with Wade went. Wade did work in the Keys, and he was given a job to pay off drug debts of his own. That's why him and Mila were so broke all the time. Mila's a junkie, he's a junkie. Junkie equals broke when you ain't got no job. So he was working in the Keys, he got in trouble, and he's already been to prison. So I don't know why everybody's acting like, oh my God, blah, 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 he's gonna get ass fucked. No, what gets him in trouble now is what I'm getting into and what no one has said. And TikTok shadow banned me. So back on my lovely platform, here I go. Wade Wilson was working for an organization, as he says, it is real. And he was, he says he was security, whatever. He was paying off debts. That's what he was doing. He was a mule. Here in Texas, we call them ducks. He is a duck. He is a sitting pawn behind a bigger scheme. So what we do, well, not we, what I've known to happen, I gotta be careful. What I've known to happen with these ducks, I'm gonna say we, I mean, I come from a crime family, so it is what it is. It's in the book, it's out in public, whatever. We find somebody stupid. Like my brother was a duck. Let's use my brother, for example. Before I went and found him, he was running dope all up and down Louisiana to Florida, blah, 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 blah. But when I went and picked him up, he didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. I was like, how are you doing all this work, but you're not making any money? Duh. He got paid in dope, meth specifically. So to get him out of that situation, I said, okay, look, one time I'm going to give you an opportunity to just come live with me with my kids, and we're going to hash this out. And now he's 4 years sober. I got him a CDL and he's on the road. It was easy for my family to become truckers because back in the day, laws weren't so strict as they are now. And you could haul anything you fucking wanted. And we're all log haulers. So skull them out, like cut them out, even pipe, stuff the shit in there, go through inspection, no big deal. So, how did we get to Wade fucking Wilson? Well, let me tell you how he got his tattoos. He went into jail. He was in jail previous to this situation when he got on probation. And again, I'm not getting this information from anyone. I just happen to be a psychic criminal profiler since all I can do is work from home now. And I've been profiling plenty of cases. This is my own opinion, and you can take it, like it, shove it up your ass. I really don't care. Wade owed a lot of fucking money to be doing the position he was put into. So they put him in a no trust position at first. He earned a little bit of a stripes, and then he started with the girls and the prostitution and the trafficking, which I am 1,000% against. I help catch traffickers all over the country. I don't agree with it, whatever. But what I've come to learn is when you get in with people who are a part of something, a bigger organization, should I say, you start to find out things. And that's what happened here. It wasn't about the drugs anymore. It wasn't about transporting anymore, drug-wise. It started becoming personal to him when they were asking him, hey, go pick up these bitches and they're going to go over here, keep an eye on them. He always felt like he was in the security situation, job, if you will, but he wasn't. All of this work, they found a Doug. Basically, they found a drug addict who was never going to have the money to pay them back, got in with the very bad people, and they set him up. Why would they set him up? Let me back up just a little. So going back to the White House being raided when Trump was in office, what was that all for? It was a distraction from other things that were going on. R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Russia, China, North Korea, fucking Elon Musk. These are all distractions to keep you away from what's going on right in front of you, right in your city, right in your town. You're just not seeing it because you're worried about, oh my God, the end of the world. Oh my God, have you seen the North Seas? If I hear that fucking song on TikTok anymore, I'm going to blow my fucking head off. They distract you so that you don't understand or even pay attention to what they are doing. Who are they? The organizations. So he gets in with these people and, he winds up fucking up. So the organization says, okay, we're going to get you where you need to be. They tattoo a massive ass swastika on his head. He did not walk into a tattoo parlor one day and said, I think I want to put this on my head. From my family's knowing, no white supremacist that is really, really involved, they don't wear it like a sleeve. It's not a badger. It's not I got my stripes. You get your stripes elsewhere. And a true white supremacist would never tattoo anything where you would see. Like, I have arm tattoos, you wouldn't see a white supremacist with that. Neck tattoos, you wouldn't see a white supremacist with that. It wouldn't happen. True supremacy, where I'm from in Louisiana, my mom still lives where those people live, and you can still see where they hung and burned and all kinds of shit, because it still happens today. You just don't hear about it. It's irrelevant. at least to the government and the organizations who run them. So Wade Wilson has to go to jail. He goes in there with this big old thing on his head. Guess what? He gets his ass beat. You know why? Because he's not a part of an organization. And if he was, he would be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet to put this massive thing on his head. So he gets his ass beat, does whatever. He's begging, begging, begging. What can I do? What can I do? How do I get out? How do I get out? They go ahead and let him out on bond. And within a matter of 2 weeks, his whole fucking life is turned upside down. Why? He tried to help the prostitutes. Big, big mistake. Trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking, even children trafficking is more, what should I say? More needed, if you can even say that. It's fucking disgusting. And it's, the underbelly are government agents, politicians, very wealthy people who mostly reside in the state of Florida. Those people are the people in power, but even they answer to the people in the vroom vrooms. So whatever the vroom vrooms say, the government does. The government supports these things. The government makes money off of it. Politicians make money off it. If you think that the fucking polls are, whatever, you can vote for Mickey Mouse, you can vote for Donald Duck, whatever the vroom vroom say, that's what's going to happen. So when he said, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, I'm not down with that shit. Well, they said, don't be down with it. They're not very angry people. They're very sit back and let you wait for your ass to die, burn, get beat up. So he tries to save Mila. For all of you who haven't looked it up yet, Mila Spa is not a spa. Here we call it trap shacks, trap houses, whatever. But there wasn't a lot of drugs coming in and out of there, more so than the women. Mila, it was a prostitute. She probably still is. She was one of the girls, and Wade took a liking to her, and she turned and bailed on him because of an incident. She's not going to give up to the organization. They'll kill her. And so this whole incident happens. So the story is, he went out with this chick, Christine Melton, tried to steal a car. He couldn't even fucking drive. Takes home this Jason person. Now, all of y'all know I have a sixth sense. Nobody talks about this Jason person too much. And I have a really good reason why. Or an inkling, we'll say. Jason was a plug that night. And he was trying to get Wade. He didn't care about the bitches. He wanted Wade to come to his house. He didn't know him. Wade was fucked up. Like you said, bath salts, fentanyl, flock up, whatever. I don't care what you're on. Why would you go to a random dude's house? Nobody's asking those questions. So from my experience in being in that, growing up in that kind of atmosphere and still having to deal with it more than I care to, Wade was like, okay, well, what do you got? Of course, homie opens his jacket and it's like, what do you need? What do you want? He's reeling him in. And he's like, but I'm here with my girl. And then he's moving around and Mila comes and says, hey, this is Christine. I just met her and she seems really cool. She wants to go have an after party. And he's like, wait a minute. There's this really cool guy, Jason, over there. I just met him, but he's stacked. He's got anything and everything we want. I think we should go with this guy. Mila wasn't going anywhere with, she says she wasn't going with anyone that she didn't know, yet she didn't know Christine Melton, and she was willing to go with her. She got men problems. Sorry. So he really this Jason guy is reeling him in. And he's like, he's already fucked up, he's already drunk. He's like, fuck it. I'm going where the free dope is. Big fucking mistake. So he takes the first of all, people say that Mila went outside to look for her car. My brain says, no, she didn't. She left to go do a job. So I think that's all bullshit. Jason obviously knew how to drive a stick shift. Who doesn't these days? And then it's Jason, Wade, Christine, and her friend Stephanie, whatever. They go back to Kristen's house. Whether they were intimate or weren't intimate, whether I don't give a shit about that. Jason and the friend are sitting there shooting the shit, talking about whatever. And then the girl realizes, oh shit, I gotta go to work. So she leaves. She makes sure that Christine's okay. She's been partying all night with Wade. And she's like, oh no, we're good. Jason hits the road. Stephanie hits the road. And then all of a sudden, we are to believe that Wade went back in the room, got a pair of jeans, a shirt, and a bikini top, ties them all together. When he's a big dude, he could have just strangled her with his own hands. But, okay, we're to believe that he strangled her with these weird pieces of clothing. That is a straight up setup from the get-go. He was being set up before he even got to the club. When we would do setups, we were already there. We knew our marks. We knew what we were doing. Yes, I've done jail time, so don't even go there. I know what I'm talking about. So he was already being the mark, and he didn't even know. So why? Just why? I know of all the addicts in my family, yeah, they get violent. They start seeing things. They start hallucinating, especially when they're coming down. You just need to pump some orange juice in them and they'll pop right back up. Maybe Wade was too stupid to know. I don't know. Anyways, he has absolutely no reason to kill this woman. And again, I want to state, what happened to these two women is obviously tragic. But I am stating from an outsider's perspective that has knowledge of these organizations. This man did not kill your family members. I'm just going to say that. Raise all the money you want, have at it. I will prove this man innocent. And guess what? Even people like me, we have people that work on the inside. Whether you're on the positive or the negative side, both of them collide. We all work for each other. Like when you go to prison, the whites obviously stick with the whites, but Hispanics, we kick it with the other people of color because we get shit on all the same. So actually in prison, whether you're black or you're Hispanic, the numbers are always on our side because the whites are only one race. That's how the outside works. So it was a setup from the get-up. He takes her car, takes her phone. This is where it gets really interesting. Takes her car, takes her phone, and all of a sudden he's able to call Mila. Probably doesn't know her number by heart. He's driving around, he's frantic, blah, 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 blah. Where's Mila? Where's Mila? Where's Mila? It's already been stated in the indictments, but never in court, that the organization cloned the phones so that it didn't need her face or her thumbprint or her whatever her code would be. The phone was cloned to make it look set up. He goes over to the spa and he's like, Mila, I gotta talk to you. And he's trying to tell her he needs to get out of town. She's like, hey, bro, you need to calm down. You're at my place of business. and we got some girls coming, like, you can't be here. So then he runs over. Why would he go to the graphic place if the guy didn't know him? Like, why would you just run into some random graphic t-shirt place and say, hey, so and so, I need money. I got to get out of here. I did some bad shit. I got to go. And then that guy, who's a big pussy, by the way, runs off in the back, never to be seen again, calls 911. Now, that's the first person who called 911. Goes back over there to Mila's. He's in the car that she doesn't recognize. She doesn't even, she's like, all she wants is her Hellcat and her fucking keys. She doesn't even, like, whose car is this? What is this? She didn't even ask any of those questions. He wanted her to get in the car. Now, Mila is like barely, she's like 1 inch from being a little person, and she's super, super tiny. So somebody who was 6'4" whacked out of his mind, and now he's scared. He is scared not because he killed Christine Melton. He is scared because he is probably getting a lot of death threats to himself. Really, they'd leave him for last. Always go for families, children first. Families, grandparents, whatever. They're going to make you suffer. And nobody will know that it's them because they live in the shadows. So on tonight's video, Pablo said, or on the phone call, he said, oh, I got this, blah, blah, blah. I earned this. He is lying about that. You do not earn no big ass swastika anywhere in life if you haven't done a million other things. And again, it wouldn't be shown all over your body, anywhere on your body. Now, when you take your shirt off, I'm not going to take my shirt off here to show y'all my tattoo, but my tattoo tells where I've been, who I'm affiliated with. I mean, it's a big old, looks like an Iron Maiden cover. So he's trying to get Mila in the car. He's trying to get Mila in. I believe he was trying to protect her because they got close. They weren't supposed to do that. And they're probably coming for her. And he's trying to tell her this. Instead, they get into the scuffle. And if you've ever met anyone on meth or on any kind of illicit drugs, they are out of their fucking mind insane. So did he fight her? Did he hit her? Sure. They even talked about it on the phone. Oh, you took it like a champ. This was regular behavior that she knew about him. They'd only been dating, or even if they were dating, for 6 months. So in that time, she knew to be afraid of him because of probably what he's done to her, maybe something she's seen him do to other people. Who knows? She does set him up. She gets him on the phone and is like, okay, well, meet me at the Joe's Crab Shack. All the while, she's calling 911. Cop pulls up. And if there was murders and all this shit going on, they wouldn't send the short, bald, dumbass police officer who can't even keep somebody in their car. He was going there just for the battery. So he shows up. We've all seen the video. Wave takes off, whatever. He doesn't chase him because it's just a minor battery. He doesn't have any information at that point. You got to keep the people, the civilians safe. So whatever, he gets away. And we are to believe that in broad daylight, this crazy motherfucker pulls up to some random chick, gets her in the car, chokes her out while he's driving. If you can play a video of that, my mind would be fucking blown. You can't choke somebody, even though he's 6'4" and probably he's got man hands, whatever. You cannot choke somebody and drive and be erratic in your brain because you're fucking twisted in metal up there. That is not possible. And then he stops, goes to throw her in the grass, realizes she's still breathing. This is where it gets really, really funny to me. Not funny that she died. You have to understand my sarcasm. This is where it gets really, really stupid. We'll use the word stupid for me. His dad, let's back up a little bit. His bio dad, they had not been in communication like his entire life. They had a few phone calls, and prior to his testimony in court, he'd only ever met Wade face to face one time. Wade asked him for money, probably for dope. So the dad didn't want to have anything to do with him. His adoptive parents were never talked about because 9 days after Wade was put in county in custody, he had not given a confession, and kapoof, they burned his grandparents or his adoptive parents' house down. That hurt him a lot. And then he has a daughter to think about. So when you are involved in these type of ongoings, you have to know that they know everything about you. They're going to know where you lived since your whole life, who your kids are, who the extended, there's a whole tree of people. And I know in Florida, there's 4 organizations. The main thing is called the Outlaws, the Unforgivens, more for like prison. And then you have the big ones. I don't say their names because family affiliations. So when you get entangled in these situations, you're in it for life or death. It's liberty or death. That's the code. Liberty or death. So going back to Diane Ruiz, he pulls her out of the car and in broad daylight, figures out that she's still alive, gets back in the car and runs her over 10, 20, 100 times. As a criminal profiler and just as a person with common fucking sense, and the dad saying the whole spaghetti thing, I wish you would choke on a fucking meatball. If you run over a person one time, you're going to have traction, tire traction on the clothing. Of course, you're going to have broken bones. That's normal. Even if he ran over her twice, say he did 10 times, she's not going to look like no fucking SpaghettiOs. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. He did not commit these crimes. He didn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. The reason he doesn't know what he's talking about is because he hasn't been given his story yet. He hasn't been given what we call his jacket yet. And y'all can go look that up. I'm not ever going to say specifics. He's not been given his jacket yet. So he's freaking out. He needs drugs, blah, 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 blah. Did he kill Christine Milton? No. He may have fucked her. Did he kill Diane Ruiz? No. No more than I think he ran over her or asked her for directions. I don't believe any of it. This is all a setup with the people that he owed a lot of money to. And when you're entangled in these organizations, once you know too much information, you're gone. You're done. That's what happened here. He owed too much money and he knew too much. He couldn't just stick to the plan. You do this from the Keys to wherever else the fuck you were going. Watch the plane. Another thing, while this trial is going on, planes are dropping billions and billions and billions of dollars of coke and fentanyl and all this shit in the fucking Florida Keys. Where's Wade? He ain't there to catch him? Well, fuck. Trust me, they're out there looking for their next duck. So, going back to Christine Milton. She got a broken fingernail. I mean, I used to wear nails, but I'm a chef, so not anymore. But I knew it hurt. I remember the pain of breaking a fucking artificial nail. That shit fucking hurts. There was her DNA was there. No semen, nothing tying. And there should have been DNA from him in her, on her. I mean, I don't know if he shoots it in the back, shot her in the face. There would have been semen specimen somewhere on her body. None. He was intimate with her, so he says. And even if he was just with her, if they were dancing, and, hairs or whatever, zero. Zero. Now you go over to the Diane Ruiz situation. There's blood, a smeared blood, let me say, on the part where the seatbelt goes, on the passenger side. When you're choking somebody while you're driving, that you're not inflicting enough pressure, pounds of pressure, to get blood all over the place. And the blood wasn't all over the place. It was right here. So strategically placed, I thought everyone in the goddamn world had blinders on. If you run over a person one time, you're going to have hair, you're going to have bodily fluids, you might have a dent in your car, anything. There was none of that. And they're like, oh, he ran over her all these times. Bullshit. They picked her up. Her face was a little disheveled, but because of the tattoo on her back, they were like, okay, well, we know who this is. If he would have ran her over more than once, the front of that car would have been straight evidence, open and shut, closed case, next docket. I don't understand why these questions weren't asked, why there was no DNA to connect the two, until I actually started putting this together. I had a picture of Christine, a picture of Wade, a picture of Diane, and I just read all three of their stories. And my conclusion is, and I will stand by it 10,000%, he was set up to go to jail, obviously. Again, he was on probation or parole. So they knew if he threw him in there, he'd at least be in there for a while, because whenever you break probation or parole, the sentence that you would have gotten is reinstated and you got to do that time. You can't get out of that. But if you look at his tattoos, the first time he goes to jail, this whole bred for war, it wasn't there. That's not even the kind of person Wade Wilson is. And if you really pay attention to it, you can tell it's covered up. It's a cover up because it is newer ink under the tattoos he already had. Then they put the swastika on him and get him all beat up and shit. Well, now he's got to prove himself and he's got to finish a job. So what's the job? All right, we're going to kick the shit out of you, knock all your teeth out, make people think you're some kind of meth addict, which he is. I'm not denying that. And then we're going to put these tattoos on you. Now, the way I'm going to break the tattoos down for you. The TTG stands for time to go, as in he's running out of time. The state of Florida has a Grim Reaper in it, and it says, why so serious? It's a complete mockery of the Joker, which is tattooed across his face. Now, if we remember any of the Jokers, it only goes from here to here. The mouth stitching is why he didn't say anything. The mouth stitching is very, very prominent in white supremacist organizations as shut your fucking mouth. You're not allowed to say shit or your family dies. So underneath the Florida thing and the ha ha ha, whatever, they're laughing at him. Everybody in the jail's laughing at him. He looks like a fucking weirdo. But me and my brother were breaking down his tattoos. We saw the Grim Reaper. Keep one eye open at night. Maybe keep both eyes open. And then it comes down and it looks like a shadow of a skeleton. Even here, you can see where they're kind of like an X-ray version of your face. That means he's a dead man walking. That's what that means. And then he has the number 14 here. You can look it up if you want to. I will not say what it is, but it is a phrase. And if you know it, I hope you know why you know it. Same with the number 88. These are white supremacist things. Again, they wouldn't be tattooed visibly. They made a joke of this fool, and the entire world is falling for it. Somebody in the organization, probably a prospect. You have to work your way up to be a prospect, and the way to earn your cut is usually to kill people. You got to get some bodies under your belt, especially with these 4 organizations. They don't play. They are going to make you fucking work for it. You're going to eat dog shit if they say you're going to eat dog shit. You're going to fucking shove nails in your ass, whatever they tell you to do. Wade didn't even know the details. He was only giving them, the police, the information that he could barely remember, because I guarantee you, they told him, this is what you're going to do. This is where you're going to go. And this is the story. We have all this information tying you back, and you're going to take the fall for it. To save his life, to save his daughter's life, to save his family's lives. That is what happened. He wouldn't be making phone calls saying, oh yeah, made her look like spaghetti. Bullshit. Who would even believe that? That's just common sense. And his dad, who came out of fucking nowhere, I'm sure he was coerced. I'm sure he's been threatened. I'm sure I know Mila's been threatened. All of these people who testified against him, who were once his friends, for lack of a better term, all sat there and told about him, told all of these lies about him. Why? They have targets on their heads. That's why. The coercion of he kept saying little by little by little in the confession, because he didn't know anything, because he didn't fucking do it. And if he was still actively on an illicit drug, he's definitely not going to fucking remember. So for all the people who think, oh my God, he did it, blah, 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 especially people like Jumpsuit Pablo, I used to really respect that dude. Really. Subscribed, bought the merchandise, send me a check, or whatever he wanted, I would do. But I got to tell you, he's a real piece of shit, because he has been posting videos, phone calls. I won't even blame phone calls from prison, because that's their whole shtick. He made some deal with them to get shorter version, stuff that he thought, and then just became a commentator who happened to be funny. He was nobody before Wade Wilson. All he talked about was his 10 years in prison, came out with no fucking teeth, and how the Aryan Brotherhood wanted him to come with them, and there was Bloods and there was Crips, and everybody wanted him. I just honestly, I'm not buying what you're selling, homie. I'm just not. And you're going to talk shit about a guy who you don't know is guilty or innocent when you started out your crime life stealing Snicker bars, and then you're like, ooh, that feels good. Feels good. Get your adrenaline going. You stepped it up a little bit more. Well, I need a place to stay. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pretend I have a gun, until you worked your way up to armed robbery. Still at the fucking gas station. Homie, you're not a criminal. You're a dipshit. And the fact that you sit back and make money off of your streams, off of making fun of all of the stupid conversations, is fucking grotesque. You never gave him the time of day. You've never actually looked for actual evidence. You had your mindset, and that's what it was. So I am just giving my mindset and what it is. This man is not guilty. I have done my best not to say any organizational names, but I honestly was raised in this livelihood. It's just who I was born into, and that's it. He didn't do it. He was set up, and he's doing exactly what they want him to do. Shut up. That's why they stitch his lips. He was not allowed to make any comments. It was his choice, but he would be breaking the code. So now he's going to sit on death row for shit that he didn't do, with all these weird tattoos that are going to get him beat up even further, and in my opinion, executed, and not by the chair or a needle. Maybe they'll have grace on him. Maybe they'll say, okay, he's had enough, and they'll let him out, because please believe the COs, the deputies, the bailiff, I believe the judge is in on it too. They're all corrupt. Florida is known for putting the most innocent people on death row, kills them, their families still fight, and they come back and say, whoops, did we do that? Florida, it has the most corrupt enforcement. I can't even say law, because they don't enforce the law. They created their own law. And you know why? Because the organizations are funding them. Cops don't make a lot of money, but they do make a lot of money when they're in other people's pockets. So I will leave y'all with that. I am going to go back to watching more videos, but I'm going to bring myself out of retirement, which I kind of just did for the last 41 minutes, and not on trucking. My trucking channel is somewhere else. I do not truck anymore, but I do talk about it. If you have any questions, I'm always here. Texas Mother Trucker till I die. I'm happy that my Texas Trucker brother is coming out and getting ready to hit the open roads. So I can still answer those questions, but this channel is going to be geared toward true crime. I'm just sick of seeing the idiocracies, and I've learned that common sense is just not so common anymore. And as a mental patient myself, I know, don't drink, don't do any of these other things, because it will make me act crazy. And I've done it before, and it's just not a good look. And when you're mixing stuff like Flocka, his lawyers were a joke, by the way, for fuck's sake. I'm going to tag Jose Baez in this. And I mean, he's already been contacted about the case. But I can't even say enough about the fucking lawyer, especially the old man. He was asleep the whole time. I'm pretty sure they were being paid off. Just saying. This is all one big fuck you. You're going to go spread our propaganda. We're going to make you the duck. And it's really for a message to all of us. If they can take somebody like Wade Wilson and many others that have come before him, plaster them all over the TV with white supremacy stuff, get them put on death row, you need to be looking behind the curtain, because that means civil war is coming. And for y'all that did not figure that out, I am so sorry. But I'm glad that I live in the neighborhood that I do, because it is very well protected. The cop dogs next door, they are very vicious. And so is mine right here. Mr. M2. He's sleepy. It's way past his bedtime. That dude's vicious. So anyways, I promise the next time I come on here, I'll have myself put together, whatever. I don't leave the house really. So you get what you get. Anyways, I'd love to hear the comments. I'll check on them regularly. And yeah, I'm going to keep following the case because it's still ongoing. I'm sure they filed appeals before he even hit the bus. So take it or leave it. I don't care either way. I just had to say what I had to say. So, peace out. and end. Commit to M2